Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of 10 Unedited Minutes with Marlena. It's Friday. Yay! It's Friday. We made it through another week. July 24th. We are, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Time flies, you guys. Time flies. It's almost the end of July. Okay, let's get into it today. Today's episode is brought to you by my dear friend, Rebecca Conklin-Kleibomer. Rebecca, thank you for sponsoring my podcast. Rebecca has sponsored me for 2 full months. And if you would like to sponsor my podcast, it is a small investment, $25 a month. And I mention your name, or if you are a business, a small business, then I will mention you at the beginning and end of each of my episodes. And I will put you on any social media that I put out there with my podcast. So, Rebecca is a dear friend of mine, and I wanted to do something a little special for her since she graciously agreed to sponsor this podcast. So, I dedicated 60 episodes to her. And I just wanted to take a few minutes at the beginning of each episode and love on Rebecca, maybe share a funny memory we've had with each other. And I saved the last 28 episodes for something very special. And that is love letters that Rebecca wrote. So in February of 2017, Rebecca dedicated the month of February to love because of Valentine's Day. And each day she chose somebody who is very special in her life and wrote them a love letter. And I saved each one of them. She published them to social media, so that's where I got them from. So today's love letter is to Cameron. And it reads, Love Letters, February 9th, Dear Cameron. When I grew up, for years and years, well into young adulthood, there were 2 little treasures sitting on a hallowed spot on the shelf in my bedroom. One was a little white porcelain box with a little lid decorated with roses, and the other was a tiny stuffed lion with a red mane and a pink heart on its chest. Gifts from you when we 2 were little. Over time, they were packed into boxes, tucked carefully away with other things that might not be prominently displayed anymore, but that I fully intended to keep with me wherever I went. Probably even into my coffin someday. When national disaster level flooding hit my home, and I pawed through all the sodden and damaged and irreparably destroyed things, I was devastated that these gifts were among them. My solace was the enduring sentiment behind those gifts. The infatuation turned fondness, the little grade school romance turned lifelong friendship, the love we have for one another to this day. When I went out of state for college, in those ancient times before Facebook was invented and email was just a nascent communication tool, so many of my treasured friendships fell away. It just wasn't as easy to stay connected to folks who were able to see each other more often. The world was cracking wide open for me in many ways, but the past was fading, and it was difficult for me to relate to folks back home for a while. You were a lifeline. There you were, living it up in off-campus housing, spinning bottles and drinking from plastic cups, inviting me to let loose a little and have some summer fun. There you were, helping me cut off my waistband long hair when I had one up my ass about something or other. There you were, coming into who you were meant to be and embracing life's possibilities. There you were, still being my friend. I will love you forever and ever for how you were there for me when I came back to Ohio with a baby in tow. I was struggling with such shame, such lack of self-confidence, such a sense of failure, such poverty of purse and spirit. You treated me with such worthiness, with encouragement and admiration, with love for this tiny little human now attached to me. You gave him a teddy bear. 20 years later, the gift you still give to me over and over is your unfailing loyalty to being connected. No matter where our lives take us or who comes in and out of them or what milestones and moments define us. You are the red maned lion of my heart, the treasure box that holds all the memories of our youth, the gift of a friend in life on whom you can depend to love you through anything. I love you, Cameron. Always, Becca. Rebecca, I'm going to tell you, when I pre-read this letter before I hit record today, I cried. That is probably one of the most beautiful letters you have written to this point. I don't know who Cameron is, but obviously they were a lifelong friend for you and somebody who was there for you, and how special. And I love you so much that it hurts my heart to know that you went through those feelings when you came home from college. But it heals my heart to know that you had a friend there. Yeah. So let's talk about friendships today. So yes, I've been loving on Rebecca for all these episodes, and I love you dearly, Rebecca. You are truly one of my best friends, but I have another best friend too. And for those of you that really know me, you know who this is. Her name is Lisa, and we have been friends since the 7th grade. And I will tell you how we met, because it kind of relates back to the paragraph in Rebecca's letter that when she said that email was I don't even know what that word meant, Rebecca, but God bless you. But email was not really a thing back then. And, back in the 80s and the 90s, we wrote letters to each other. So anyway, so Lisa and I, we met at church. Back in the day, if you're from Northwest Ohio, from the Toledo Diocese, I'm sure you've heard of this youth group called Hearthstone. And that was our youth group through high school growing up. And I got involved with that, and I went to a team leader training one weekend, and Lisa was there, and that's how we met. We didn't really we talked, and we got to know each other a little bit that weekend, I think. But then once a month, there was this youth mass, and it was at Cuba Church, which the church is no longer there, but Cuba is right outside of Kalida, Ohio. So Lisa would go to youth mass, I would go to youth mass, and I don't even know why I'm laughing. But one day after mass, Lisa walked up to me and she said, "I want to write you a letter. Can I write you a letter?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let's write some letters." So that's it. From there, we started writing each other letters, and we became best friends. We became pen pals first, and then when we had Hearthstone events, we were best friends. And then we got our driver's license, and I could drive. Lisa, the other thing that's crazy here is we were from the opposite ends of the county. And so it was funny because when I would go to my aunt's house, I could call Lisa for free. From my house, it was long distance, and it was 10 cents a minute, dude. And there was, no way I was going to be able to talk for 2 hours on the phone at 10 cents a minute, guys. So, when I went to my aunt's house, I could call Lisa. So I would call, and we would just sit and talk on the phone for hours. And then once we got our license, she would come pick me up from my aunt's house, and we would go hang out, probably to Burger King in Ottawa. Now y'all from Putnam County, I'm really dating myself. But anyway, Lisa and I stayed friends. I don't know, whenever we get together, it's like we just kind of feel like we're in high school again. And, I feel like we can both just let our guard down and let loose for a little bit. I love her dearly. She is like a sister to me. And she's that friend that, we don't talk every single day. I think of her every single day. And we text each other, not every day, but when we do, it's like we just, talked to her a minute ago. And we are at a point in our lives where you have to be intentional about spending time together. So we schedule one day a month, as we call it Beastie Day. And you'll see that on my calendar. You might see that on social media. And the whole word Beastie is an inside joke. And we'll just leave that to me and Lisa. But I love her, love her, love her. And this letter today from Rebecca really hit home for me, just because friends are so important. You know, family is extremely important, and family's the one that you will fall back on. But if you can find a friend that is like that family, then I think you've hit the jackpot. And I have, in so many ways. And as you get older and as you go through life, you make new friends, you make other friends. And it's just funny to me how, you know, Lisa and I met in the 7th grade before communication was, you know, super easy as it is today. And we were able to build that friendship, and we are able to maintain that friendship today. And I love her dearly. So she doesn't listen to these podcasts, by the way. If she does, she's not telling me. So if you see her, tell her to listen to this podcast, and she'll probably just laugh and roll her eyes and make fun of me. But I can say one thing, and if you're rolling your eyes, bitch, fuck you. That's what I would say to my best friend. Anyway, let's end on not such a sentimental note, because that is not me and Lisa's friendship. We always have to end on something funny and laughing our asses off. So if you are watching me on YouTube, okay, so this podcast, I stream it to YouTube. I have set up my iPad so I can record it vertically, so I can put it presents better on Reels and stuff. And then I record just my voice on my computer, and I push that out through Buzzsprout, and that goes out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the others. But if you are watching me on YouTube today, look, see this little jar? So I am frugal, right? I have this microphone stand, but as I'm like editing these podcasts and trying to figure out how to get the sound to be as amazing as it can be, I feel like this microphone has to be closer to my face, to my mouth. So this little tripod that I had it on was not cutting it. So I put it in this jar, and it elevated it maybe, you know, an inch, so I don't have to bend over as much. But anyway, I just think that's hilarious. And I was trying to hide it so you guys couldn't see the jar today. And if you're on YouTube, you can't. But here, I'll lift it up. But if you're on TikTok, it's in the shot, guys. And who cares? Anyway, let's end it there. 10 minutes is up, you guys. It doesn't take me long to fill up 10 minutes worth of my time. So thank you, Rebecca. Your letter was absolutely beautiful today. I just think it's really cool how I am pulling these back out of the archives and kind of getting to know you a little bit more, a little bit deeper than I do today. And Rebecca, you are that friend. We don't see each other. We don't see each other maybe once a year, but we use social media to communicate. And I love you just as deeply as I love Lisa. You are somebody who is very special to me. And that just goes to show that you don't have to see each other to love each other. So thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening and for supporting me and taking this podcast to somewhere that I never even thought it would go. I thought it was just going to be something out there with my voice on it, and you guys like it. So I guess we'll keep doing it. Anyway, I love you all. Pray for me. I pray for you every single day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.